If you're the problem, you're also the solution.
Yes.
You've been the solution.
All along.
All along. You've been the solution before. Look back at your business when you were stuck and you were able to get yourself out. You can do this.
And we're back.
With another episode of He Said, She Said.
And babe, we're not just back. We have officially opened the greatest program that we have ever designed in our entire life, the Mentor Collective Mastermind, which is the most supportive mastermind on the entire internet. And the way that we know that is because that is the mission statement that we started a year ago building backwards from. We said, we're going to build the most supportive mastermind on the entire internet. No fluff. All hands-on action. I love the way this thing is designed. One-on-one coaches, answers on demand, weekly calls, resources, you name it. Everything's there. Now, there's limited seats because of the one-on-one coaches and because of all the very intimate resources to help you with your business. And because there's limited seats, you need to rush over right now to loriharder.com/mentor and grab a seat if there's one open. Seriously, rush over, hit pause, and go to loriharder.com/mentor. And if you see a seat open, grab it, because this is going to be the greatest collection of up and coming entrepreneurs who are earning under $500,000 with the desire to get past that mark. We're going to make them collaborate and they're going to have lifelong relationships, getting each other's back. I can't wait. So go to loriharder.com/mentor and we can't wait to work with you. And speaking of working with you, boy, in the elite level mastermind, what was the most common theme that kept coming up when we ran it a few weeks ago? It was bottlenecking. And remember, these are 7- and 8-figure business owners. So these are not newbies. Mm-hmm. The theme was bottlenecking, bottlenecking, bottlenecking. They were all their own bottleneck. And I know you've got something to say about this.
So that's what we're going to talk about today. Are you the bottleneck, and how to stop playing victim in your business? So we're going to give them questions that they can walk through to know if it's a you problem.
I love this, workshop style.
Yes, workshop style. So I want to make sure that anybody listening, maybe they've, been in a place where they're thinking that it's the people that they're working with, but really understanding that maybe it's you is the most empowering place to be. So here's how to know if you're the bottleneck. Here's some signs that it just might be you who's the problem. Are you constantly overwhelmed? Are you micromanaging everything? Are you blaming external factors like the economy, the team, the timing? Are your decisions piling up on your desk? And are you avoiding big moves because you're scared of failing? Chris, tell me a couple times in business when you realized you were the bottleneck.
I caused the biggest problem in our growth when we were first getting started with our personal brands and we were doing events and courses and all that stuff, because I wanted us to figure everything out on our own. I wanted to save a buck. And so I ended up costing us tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars by trying to do everything our own. We'd say, hey, team member, figure this out. Hey, Lori, you can figure that out. Oh, don't worry, babe. I can figure this out myself. And in this effort to figure it out on the cheap, we became the bottleneck. Mm-hmm. And it's cost us so much money. And when we finally, matter of fact, I got to give you credit. When you finally said, Chris, we are from now on going to hire the best of the best. We're going to invest in a lot of team. We're going to load up with experts. That's when the profits soared. And it's simple to look back now and say that. But in the moment, I get it. When people are afraid to invest in that first hire, when they're afraid to invest in that, maybe the ads person, or they're afraid to invest in that sales copywriter. But when you do everything yourself, there's two problems. One, you only have just so many skill sets. Like, you're good at a few things, but you're not great at them all. So the ones that you're not good at, that's holding you back. That's a form of bottlenecking. But then you only have so much time and energy. So everything takes twice as long and it'll cost you twice as much money because you're not making revenue when you should already be out there making revenue.
Mm-hmm. The next question to ask is, where am I making excuses instead of making moves?
Oh, this is like upper limiting belief type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people, and I know this will sound crazy because you're gonna be like, of course I want to be seen. Of course I want to make money. But the truth is, sometimes you don't want to be seen yet, not fully, not in your full truth. And so this also creates a bottleneck, Because when you're the only person running the show, there's no one to police you and say, no, this is the better idea. No, I'm the expert in sales copywriting. We should say it this way. No, I'm great at ads and marketing. This is how we need to present it. And you may know that you have to go that direction, but you're not ready to fully put yourself out there. And so it's a weird sabotaging form of bottleneck.
Oh, I know exactly where I'm doing this right now, like with Glōci on TikTok, because everybody keeps telling me like, just start posting. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. And I keep on telling myself like, well, I need to learn the platform more. Well, I don't want to just go on and like talk about nothing, where some platforms I'm totally willing to do that. Like, I can whip out an email, I can whip out, a podcast, like no problem. And I have to remember that came because I was willing to just like put it up, look stupid, not fully understand the platform, maybe not be showing up the way that I'm supposed to be, but that's how you learn. So where am I making excuses instead of making moves and getting brutally honest? Because in the truth of it all is that the more that you make moves, the more you're going to know what works for you and what doesn't. So the next big question to ask yourself is, what decisions am I avoiding right now because they're uncomfortable? This could be hard conversations, hiring, investing, needing to raise money, letting go of someone, raising prices. This reminds me of the Tim Ferriss quote that he says, the level of your success can be measured by how many hard conversations you're willing to have in a day.
Well, sticking with the theme of bottlenecking, right? Which means, hey, we've become stuck here, right? Stuck in the bottleneck. There's two areas that come to mind right away when you ask this question. The first area is you're afraid to commit to spending the money on those first couple of hires.
Yeah.
When really spending $1 should make you $5 when you make those correct hires. So you're like saying, hey, I don't want to spend that $100,000 in salaries. But what you're really not doing is you're not finishing the sentence. You're saying, I don't want to invest the $100,000 in salaries in order to make $500,000 in revenue. That's what you're really saying, but you're not finishing the sentence. You're just stopping at, I don't want to spend the $100,000 in salaries because it's scary to you. And I understand that, right? We're not pointing fingers. We've been there. But if somebody could shake you by the shoulders and say, listen up, this is the secret. Just take the plunge. And one of the things that helps is, we talk about this a lot in our masterminds. People feel like it's scary to hire that person for, $60,000 a year, $80,000 a year, $100,000 a year, right? And I get it. That's a big number, but you're not writing them a check on the spot for 60 grand or 80 grand or 100 grand. Instead, in that case, you're paying them $2,500 a pay period, or you're paying them $4,000 a pay period or $5,000 a pay period. And so when you break it down that way, it's almost like you're financing the talent that you have to get. And although the goal is always to keep people on board, you can always call it quits if you didn't make the right hire. So it's not a permanent decision. So the first upper limiting area, where are you pretending to not do what you need to do? That's in spending the money for the hire. Now, related, but totally different, is not replacing the people that need to be replaced. This is like you become too good of friends with the person on your team, or you care too much about, like, oh gosh, I know their family's going through this, so I can't replace them, even though they're really sabotaging our launch or sabotaging this thing. Or you care about, you're a good human. You're like, oh, good humans don't ever fire people. Except that's not true. Good humans put the right people in the right places, and they relieve people from jobs where they're not happy and not performing. A lot of times you think, oh my God, I'm going to ruin this person's life if I fire them and tell them, hey, you're not cutting it. You're not performing well enough. But the truth is they already know. And they're probably stressed every day from the time they get up to the time they finish work, and even at home afterwards, saying, I know I'm doing a bad job. I know I'm letting them down. So it's stressful for you because they're hurting your company and they're hurting your efforts. And it's stressful for them because you're letting them drag it on. And even though they know they're not performing, and that's a horrible feeling. So the best, kindest thing to do in that situation is to tear the Band-Aid off and put them in a different position, or cut them all together and rehire somebody more qualified.
Another one is not asking for help because it's uncomfortable. Not asking people who are ahead of you, maybe not joining something. This truly is makes me think of our launch coming up. And there are a lot of people right now who need questions answered. They don't know their next steps. They're wasting so much money on bad decisions. They're wasting money on bad hires. They're wasting money on not knowing where to put their money. And this was totally us until we got mentors and we could pass everything by people. So this is really huge, you guys. This is very real. This is not just hey, join our mastermind that we have coming out. This is join anyone's anything.
Yep.
We would love you in ours, but truly, if you want to skip the line and stop wasting money, if you and I would have gotten help sooner and asked people sooner, we were just like, oh, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Feeling like stupid to ask people.
Well, I'm laughing because what we were afraid to spend in mentorship is like 1/10 of what we were missing out on in revenue, or 1/10 of what we were spending in the wrong direction by keeping the wrong people on or doing the wrong advertising campaign. When we went, for example, into Lewis's mastermind, and he said, why are you doing this? Just cut it down to this and this.
Yeah.
And get rid of everything else. Oh my God, that one scary investment into his mastermind ended up 10xing itself just that first year.
Yeah.
Literally, mathematically. Whatever we invested, we made more than 10 times that back just that first year because of that advice and that clarity that he gave us.
I'm literally we are doing that this year. So you guys, we have everything that we say we go and do because we can't give you advice without doing this ourselves. So, and are we perfect at it? Absolutely not. Are we constantly working on it? 1,000,000%. So this last year, I was feeling really overwhelmed and I wanted to give more energy to just one or two things for you and I in our personal brand side. And then I wanted to give all of my energy to Glōci, like 100. Somehow I wanted to create more energy, 100% for Glōci. And then I also wanted to create energy for our personal brand. And I was doing so many different things on different days. And it was like destroying my week. It was draining all of my energy. So I went and masterminded with quite a few different women. So one group I masterminded with, and then Natalie Ellis, who's my co-founder in Glōci, you know, she is a brilliant businesswoman who is so focused in linear. And I sat down with her and she looked at everything that I was doing. She's like, you need to streamline this. Like your energy is leaking everywhere. If you just focus on, you know, now I run the Elite Mastermind with you. That's so streamlined for me. And then we're launching this Mentor Collective Mastermind. And this really is what all of my energy is going towards along with Glōci. And I feel so much better. I'm far less of a bottleneck in all of the things that I was trying to move forward, because now I'm like, what can I really give my energy to? What can I give 100% to? So that has been huge for me, where I realized I was actually completely avoiding looking at like, where do I need to focus in? And I was staying really busy and distracted with a lot of different things, thinking I needed to be everywhere, when I had the realization after talking to some mentors, they're like, you're going to thrive so much more. Your businesses are going to do so much better if you pull back. And they couldn't have been more right. We already saw the benefits of that at the beginning of this year.
And people, you know, you said, hey, we practice what we preach. I currently spend $120,000 a year on one of my mentors, right? $10,000 a month. Best money I've ever spent. You just spent thousands on a course to learn social media, and you're so excited. And I'm watching it change right before our very eyes. Like, yeah, we spend a ton of money on mentorship and learning because we are forever the student and it's the shortcut. And so if you're holding back on doing that, don't complain when things aren't working out. Don't complain when you're not making enough money. Don't complain when everyone else around you is growing and you're not, because the truth is you're not investing the money to get the return that you would get if you did so.
I'm going to say something that is like one of the most important parts of when you join something too, no matter what you join, like join with intention. If it's a mastermind or if it's a group or whatever it is, because, you know, I joined this social media membership because I wanted proximity to the people who started it. And not only are they experts and did I want to learn from them, but I know that when you're in groups, if you want to meet someone, learn from them, be in that world, that joining their stuff really helps. And it gets you proximity to different people. And that's what I need right now. And, you know, whenever we've joined different masterminds, the proximity of the person who runs it and all of their friends has changed our lives.
Yeah.
Completely changed our lives, because not only does it help, but it gives this idea to people who are watching on the outside that they do what they say. And they're also, oh, are they friends with those people? Are they working with those people? It brings this type of lure to you and your brand that is undeniable. It's just the truth. If you want to know how it really works, it's proximity to people in these groups as well. So the next question to ask yourself is, if my team or the people around me mirrored and repeated my energy, my habits, and my attitude, would they thrive or crash?
This is interesting because one of the limiting beliefs when it comes to, let's say, hiring team is no one's going to do it as good as I will. So I have to first say, I'd rather have an army of people doing things 80 to 90% as good as I could, but have 10 of them doing it. Because the exponential math of that is now I'm getting 900% output instead of just 100% output doing it myself. Does that make sense? But then the caveat to that is this. Once you hire the right people and you say, okay, I'm okay with the 10% margin of error, you still have to set the pace. You still have to set the standard. You still have to lead by example. So that doesn't mean like, hey, just because they're going to be 80 or 90% as effective as you might be if you did it yourself, that doesn't mean that you can suddenly be 80 or 90% as good in your own skill sets. You have to show your team what it looks like to show up at 110% every single time in your energy, in your pace, in your example, in your effort. And during the lows, you can't get too low on the lows or they're going to follow you. And on the highs, it's great to celebrate, but you can't get too high on the highs or they're going to get high on the highs and they're going to start getting high on their own supply and then they're going to take their foot off the gas. So it's up to you to set the tone and keep the pace all the time, regardless of what's going on around you, and your team will follow suit.
The next question is, what am I tolerating that is dragging the whole business down?
Well, most people are going to answer mediocrity here, and they know it. They know it. All you have to do is look around at people with similar businesses. Why are they going faster? Why are they making more money? Why are they having more fun? Why are they attracting all the right partners and speakers and speaking opportunities and podcasts and everything? It's because they refuse mediocrity. They keep stepping up to the plate and trying and swinging for excellence every single time. Well, if you stay in the land of pretty good, which is very intoxicating, I get it. Hey, things are pretty good. We're coasting along. Pretty good is the same as mediocrity. And we live in a sea of mediocrity and pretty good. So you're just going to blend right in. You're not going to stand out. And this is a competitive world. So if you're going to stand out, right? Remember, 10% of the people make 90% of the money. And all the rest, they're splitting crumbs, even though they're doing pretty good. So if you want to be part of that 10% that makes 90% of the money, no matter what field you're in, then you need to step up to the plate and swing for excellence and ditch mediocrity.
Love that. Okay, next one. If someone looked at my calendar, would it match my goals for my business?
Ouch. What about yours, babe? How's your calendar?
It's getting there slowly.
What do you mean? Expand.
So I have been leaving big gaps for like creative time and for creating partnerships. And some days I get to it and some days it gets filled in because you know how startup life goes. It's very, I'm definitely talking to the entrepreneur right now when I say it truly is a challenge when you are in a startup and you have limited team members, that things in your calendar get filled in, meetings come up, the most important things come up. So you need more than you think. Meaning most pressing things in your business can come up that you have to deal with that day. A fire comes up, whatever it is. So if you feel like you need free time to create or to create those partnerships or network or whatever that looks like that really moves the needle, you need to schedule more time than you think.
It's funny because if you looked at my calendar, you know exactly what my goals are. Like my protected time in there for my workouts gets laid down first. Time with family, like creating memories here, memories there, that gets laid down first. And then there's still plenty of time on the calendar for Frello to hit and for all my clients to hit. And when you look at my calendar, you can look and very clearly say, okay, this is a guy that is spending, 40 to 50 hours a week on his dream business, Frello, and spending 20, 30 hours a week on clients, which pays the bills, and still has plenty of time to do lots of things with his family, mom dates with you, going on little trips, experiencing life. And most importantly, one of my goals right now would be as fit as I possibly can this year and come back from this arm injury where I tore my bicep. You see all of that on my calendar right now. You can look and see where all my physical therapy appointments are. You can look and see where all my workouts are. Those things go down first, and there's still plenty of room in the container for you to have concentrated efforts on everything else that has to get done. So yeah, my calendar would reflect what my goals are. But the question really is a rhetorical question for everyone listening. This is your chance to check in with yourself and say, if Lori came and knocked on your door, if I came and knocked on your door and said, hi, we're Chris and Lori. We heard you're a listener. Show us your calendar and we'll tell you what we think your goals are. Would we be able to guess, number one, what your goals are, and number two, how successful you're going to be? And would you be afraid to show us?
Okay, so
we should do that. We should go door knock. Listeners, how fun would that be?
I mean, door knocking listeners would be fun.
We
It
should
would be
do
surprising.
That would be a fun
Would we
campaign.
bring-
Like the old publisher clearinghouse, like, hey, we got a big check for you.
That was like the 80s dream.
That
like
was.
someone was going to knock on your door, bring
With
you
$1 million
balloons and
check,
bring you a
and
check.
somehow you're
Like
gonna be
that
rich
was
forever.
just, the 80s was all about someone else saving you.
Yep.
Like whether it was Disney,
Yes.
Disney movies or Publishers Clearinghouse.
Is either a Disney Prince or publisher
or
clearinghouse.
Star Search.
Or
Oh
Star
my
Search.
God.
One of
Or
those
Star
three were going to
Search.
save you.
It was gonna save me. Or I remember when America's Next Top Model came, I was like, is someone just gonna like pluck me off the street now? Yeah.
Yeah, someone's going to pluck you off the street.
Right off the street
where
and say,
you go and they say, oh, you're the perfect model. All we need is $5,000 for your training
I was
program.
going to say, and that's exactly what happened to me. Someone was
was the
like,
biggest
oh,
scam in the
you
80s
should be a
and 90s.
model. And they're like, except pay me $5,000. I was like, oh, I should have known better. Okay, so here's the cool part. If you're the problem, you're also the solution.
Yes.
You've been the solution.
All along.
All along. You've been the solution before. Look back at your business when you were stuck and you were able to get yourself out. You can do this. It's not going to be all at once. We're going to fix one problem at a time. But here's a couple different things that are going to be a solve for the things that we talked about. So this one is kind of a no-brainer, but even though it was a no-brainer, I wasn't doing it, you guys. You have to create days for each specific tasks that you're doing. So I really like to create specific days just for the podcast because our brains do not like to switch tasks.
No.
So if you have a creative day, maybe keep that on, a Monday or a Tuesday. Wednesday, if you have meetings. Thursday is my podcast. Friday is another creative day. And what happens in scheduling is that as things start coming up, you're going to be real tempted to put it on your creative days and be like, I don't need that. I don't need that day. I'll be just fine. And all of a sudden you have scheduled it away. I promise you, this is what's going to happen. And so you have to keep trying over and over and over. And the funny part is that you're going to think that people aren't going to be able to move their schedule. They'll say, no, I'm sorry. It's just that Tuesday. And you'll have to be firm and say, well, I'm sorry. I only take podcasts on Thursdays.
And it's amazing how their schedule all of a sudden clears up. The most certain, if I could ever leave you with anything, remember this, the most certain person in any conversation always wins, period. So be certain with your calendar. Oh, I'm so sorry. I only record on Thursdays, but I would love for you to be on the show. Let me know if there's a Thursday you can do it. Oh, suddenly Thursdays clear right up. We learned this all the way back in network marketing when people are like, oh, you want to bring them onto your team and they're like a dream business builder, right? And you'd say, oh gosh, I can only talk Tuesdays and Thursdays. And they say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm only available this time and this time. I'd say, well, let me know if a Tuesday or Thursday works. And suddenly, miraculously, Tuesday and Thursday works. So you got to train people, right, when you're available.
Sometimes that won't work, and that's okay. You can let it go. Or if it's vital for your business, you can obviously
Of course,
schedule
there's
it if
always
you need
flexibility to everything.
But I would say keep sticking to it because even though, yes, you're training them, even if they say no, you're really training yourself. You're training yourself to say, nope, even though that person can't do it, I'm actually not going to take it because I need that creative time in that day to move the needle in my business more than I need that thing. Okay, the next one is to set deadlines for uncomfortable decisions and
discussions.
Oh my, uncomfortable decisions and conversations.
Yeah.
Nothing makes you follow through on this more than sharing it with a mentor or a group of people. Let me tell you, when I had my mentor and I needed to let someone go, I was like, oh my God, we've already had the conversation. I told this person, I know that I need to let this person go. And nothing held me to it, like knowing my mentor was going to get on a call with me the next week and ask me if I did it.
It's accountability. Like that's why our new program, the Mentor Collective, works so well because we have weekly calls. And if you say, hey, here's my question. What should I do with this person? And we say, you got to let go of them. Like, here's why they're costing you. And you agree on that call. You don't want to show up to the next week's call having the same question, the same problem, saying, well, I didn't want to talk to him yet, right? Because everyone's watching. So it's a healthy pressure. It's healthy accountability to tell a mentor, tell a peer, tell the world, tell Instagram, tell somebody about the bold move that you have to make because now you have to make it or you're going to look like a buffoon.
The next one is to invest in a group or in mentorship that makes decisive action the norm.
Yeah.
And if you're around a ton of people who are taking massive action and it's like, hey, this week is an integration week. We're actually going to go and do all the things that we said we're going to do and that we worked on and that we set as goals. And as a group, we're going to go and do this. And that's what we're going to do in the Mentor Collective Mastermind. And you're going to go move together. There's nothing like knowing everybody is doing this. We're all in this little bit of pain. We're all tearing Band-Aids off right now. We're all going to come back and report our wins. That's what changes the game. Every single time I've done that with people. And I can look back and say, oh my gosh, there were huge moments where I actually committed to a group of people where if I wouldn't have committed that goal, I would never be where I'm at today.
It happened to me in Lewis's mastermind the first year we were in there. I was like, yeah, I've got this podcast I want to do. I paid, $18,000 for a domain name last year. And I'll get around to it. They're like, no, you won't. What date do you want it out by? I'm like, such and such date. They're like, great. What's the first step you have to do to get there? I'm like, this step. And they're like, by when? And I was like, oh shit, they mean it. Said by this date. What's the next step? And by when? And what's the next step? And by when? And my peers in that mastermind held me accountable to not getting it out on time, but getting it out early after it sat on the shelf for a year with the best of intentions of getting to it, but I never did. And it changed my life forever.
Mm-hmm. The last one is to assign ownership and stop being the catch-all for your team. Assign ownership and assign deadlines. And I am still learning this and how to do it to really create the right KPIs for myself and for my team, and to set those deadlines and create that accountability within your team. And this is a huge one because how many times have we fired off to all of our teams throughout the years and been like, this is what we want done and this is what we want done. And we create these endless to-do lists for them with no prioritization of what is most important or when they get done.
Yeah. And sometimes that's what you take a while to learn, right? If you're new in business and you've just made your first $100,000 or first couple $100,000, you don't realize the importance of true measurables, true KPIs, true schedules, true deadlines, everything that we've been talking about. And that's one of the things that we teach in the Mentor Collective. I'm just going to give a shameless plug right now. We literally have built the most supportive business program on the entire internet, the most supportive mastermind on the entire internet, because you show up for your peers and we do forced collaboration. We put you on a pedestal in what we call teach back. So you're exposed to the entire group so they understand what you're trying to do and what you're good at. We have coaches that we put on salary with our money so that they are answers on demand, meaning when you have that answer about or that question about your business, all you have to do is send it to the coach whose area of expertise it is. We've got a legal coach and a marketing coach and a social media coach and a podcast coach and a hiring and firing and leadership coach and an AI and tech coach. We have covered every single aspect. So when you have a question in that moment, you fire it off to the appropriate coach and then they get back to you. That's what we call answers on demand. The weekly calls, everything. We designed it working backwards from that statement. That's going to be the most supportive business program ever on the internet. And we have pulled it off. So whether you want to learn about KPIs, whether you want the accountability, whether you want to meet other people that you have to show up for, whether you want to meet other people that you can, turn into your ride or dies, when you want to be around people that will hold you accountable, this is where you find them. It's where you and I found so many of our friends many years ago that are still business partners and friends and investors and everything in our life right now. You're going to find the same thing if you join this program. Don't invest for today. Of course, you'll get an ROI right away, but invest for your future self. Invest in this program, which is wildly affordable. We were able to make it so incredibly cheap for what you get. Invest in this program today for who you're going to be next year, for who you want to collaborate the year with after that, for the investors you might want 3 years down the road, for the business partner that you wish you knew 4 years down the road, because all of those things have happened in our life from masterminds and groups that we have been in. So right now, literally run over and see if there's a seat. Go to loriharder.com/mentor. I'm not playing. Try it out for just a couple of months. It's the greatest thing on the entire planet. We made it so anybody can afford it. As long as you're making at least $25,000 a year and up to $500,000 a year, rush over to loriharder.com/mentor, because we want you to experience this container of magic that we created for you.
And this is what we love to do. We love getting to see you on the calls. We love getting to chat with you guys. We love helping move
and we love
businesses
getting to
forward.
know you because you become our future, friends and business partners and all that stuff too.
I mean, people can look at our lives and see a lot of our friends have come by way of different things that we've hosted, because you meet so many awesome people.
So Matthew Zanis, shout out to Matt. He only trains Olympians. And not, some people say that he literally only trains Olympians. He's a doctor of physical therapy, and he gets them not only repaired when they need repairs, but he works with them so that their body moves properly. Well, he's my physical therapist for bringing my arm back from my torn bicep and my labrum surgery. Now, how do I have access to him? He was in this same kind of program that we used to have called Fast Foundations way back when. That's how we got to know him. That's how we got to know his brilliance. It's how I built that relationship capital with him, so that now I have access to someone who only trains Olympians that I wouldn't be able to have as my PT if I didn't, have him in the program a while back.
That's so
That
cool.
is proof. Like, we've got a million stories like that of people who came full circle and they're now in our lives in an important, meaningful way. So seriously, we want you in our future life. If you're talented, go to loriharder.com/mentor and join right now.
You guys, we're so grateful for you, and we will see you on the next episode. Bye,
Thanks
everyone.
for listening.